to Freshly Forever, a podcast that gives you fascinating insights week after week. Here's your host, Vai Kumar.
Hey folks, welcome to another episode on podcast Freshly Forever. Today I have the pleasure of talking to Diya. She's a published author, researcher, innovator, entrepreneur, Hindustani classical vocalist, and a violinist. She's a proponent of community, leading a holistic life through self-healing. Her Discord server, Speak, which is support positivity, equality, acceptance, and kindness, motivates people to express their feelings, and she guides them to realize their inner calm and self. She is also the innovator of a line of flavonoids, superfoods called OxiBlast. It's with great joy that I welcome Diya to the show. Hey Diya, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. You are a health advocate, author, researcher, and a spokesperson for equality and acceptance. Tell us about why you felt the need to motivate young people to eat healthy.
Well, everywhere around me, I see people getting more into helping themselves. And I also see people going through lots of difficulties in their lives, especially with things going on in social media, as well as things just going on in their lives. And I felt like a lot of people didn't feel like they had the proper resources to get to vent out their frustrations or talk about their problems. So I one night I was thinking about that, and I was thinking about the people who didn't have that type of resource or that type of shoulder to cry on, you know. So I wanted to make something so that could be their resource. And so therefore I became an advocate for mental health and eating healthy, because that really impacts your lifestyle and your body. And I actually made a Discord server called Speak. So SPEAK, support, positivity, equity, acceptance / assistance, and kindness server. So
excellent.
So it's not very big right now. I need to promote it more. It's going through a series of changes right now where I'm adding more features and fun games to the server. But after that, I'll start promoting it, and hopefully it'll start growing. So it's just a place for people to talk about themselves and their opinions without judgment, because I know judgment can really play into someone's mental health. And people really don't want to be judged when they're talking about their own feelings. They want people to see their perspective, and being judged is not the best. It doesn't feel great. So I thought the Speak server would be really good for people who don't want judgment when they want to talk about themselves. So that's kind of how I became a mental health advocate for teens as well, because life is very difficult, and we need sometimes we do need help. Sometimes we do need the resources. So I think presenting that resource is really great.
Oh, phenomenal. Whatever you said there, Diya, makes me want to ask this question. Why do you think it's important for anyone to speak their mind? What do you think is currently the constraint, or what's holding people back?
I think a lot has to do with not like being misinterpreted. If you don't speak your mind, you're misinterpreted. People, I guess, mistreat you, and they misunderstand you. If you say something that's not in your heart, then they will get a specific image of you that you didn't want to portray. Like let's just say if you didn't like a food, but you said you liked it, then they're going to keep giving that food to you, and you, even if you don't like it, so they'll misunderstand. And that can often result in frustration and also depression, even, because you're not understood. And I think the problem with people feeling discouraged to speak their mind is either not wanting to hurt the other person's feelings, or disrespect. So they don't want to disrespect that person. Like, even if the truth hurts, it's better to speak the truth than lie and hurt yourself. I think with that, it's much more important to think about how you feel instead of thinking about how they might feel, because thinking about them first might hurt you.
Yeah, well said. So right there, speaking anyone's mind, I'm sure, helps achieve more clarity. You also advocate big time for inner calm and peaceful self. So how do you think one can achieve that?
So not only just putting the blame or your problems on others, but thinking about yourself, because no matter where you go, you're the only person who's constant in your environment. So it's yourself who you have to think about and critique. What can I change about myself that will make me more calm? And also practicing self-care, things like meditation and breathing techniques can be really calming for the mind. And I think putting that into practice in your lifestyle is very beneficial. And just focusing on yourself, taking care of yourself, not overworking yourself. Those things are really great for achieving inner calm. And I think taking all parts of your life into consideration. So your eating diet, your activity, physical activity, emotions, what else? Your relationships with the outer world, your actions, what you say and think, your emotions. So I think considering those as well and seeing what you can improve about them is really great too. So
okay, do you think youth are receptive when you try propagating this messaging? What is the response do you normally see?
I see a lot of people agreeing with me. I see many of my friends. I see many of my friends advocating online on social media for taking care of yourself or conquering your issues. But they also like.
So they see the importance of it.
Yes, they see the importance of it, and they try to give it representation, and they try to spread the word out about those types of facts. So right now I saw on social media the disadvantages of social media, of using so much social media for teens. And I thought that was a really important message, because there are lots of controversial posts nowadays. And I think it's really great that people stay away from those things because it stresses them out a lot. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
I think, you definitely brought about a good point there. And you have also been the creator or the innovator of OxiBlast, which is like full of flavonoids and superfoods. How did you formulate it? What is it? And for an average listener that's wondering what flavonoids are, how would you explain the product to them?
So let's start off with what flavonoids are. Flavonoids are plant metabolites. They're found mostly in fruit peels and, like I said, in plants. And they are thought to have numerous health benefits. Like, they're good for your skin. They're good for your digestion. They're good for hair health as well. They're really good for your body, and just incorporating them into your diet is just a must to have a better lifestyle. So to reap the benefits of flavonoids, a lot of people like to peel their vegetables and fruits, and that's where most of the flavonoids are. That's where 30% of the nutrients of the fruit itself is in the peels that they discard. Also, there are different parts of the fruits, like, for example, the core of an apple or the inside of an orange, that might have extra fiber or nutrients. So I wanted to implement those into my product, and taking fruits and vegetables and implementing them into a powdery substance. And that can be something that could be added to smoothies, soups, teas, and you can even add it to non-edible products and put it on your face like a face mask. And that's how I came up with OxiBlast.
Okay. Is it patented, or where can one find it?
It's not available in the US right now, and I don't have a patent. I have a registered trademark for it.
So do you plan to introduce it in the US pretty soon?
Maybe. There's a lot of paperwork and approval that we have to carry out. So I think maybe a little bit later we'll be able to make OxiBlast available in the US. But right now it's found in India only.
Okay, good. Your book, you're also an author, and Healthier Habits for a Healthier You. That's the book. And you give smoothie ideas. You're an ambassador for healthy eating via this, and you also talk about your journey. Why don't you just tell the listeners here about it all?
So let's talk a little bit about my journey first, because that's the roots of where I came from and how all this knowledge and motivation sparked. So when I was little, I had a BMI of 40, which is considered obese, and I had a lot of trouble losing weight. I tried whatever diets the doctors gave me, and I would lose weight, and then it would come back, and then I would start to feel discouraged because the weight would keep coming back, and I would start to feel that my weight would never go down. I would never get better. But then I stumbled on weight loss smoothies on YouTube. The term weight loss intrigued me. So I really enjoyed watching those videos on YouTube. They were just giving the smoothie recipes and then stating the facts and benefits of each ingredient that they added in the smoothie. So I decided to give it a try myself.
So did your book stem from a love for food and cooking, aside from your need to lose weight, or would you say it was just a sheer case of your health need that prompted you to write the book?
So I started to craft my own smoothie recipes. I'm interested in cooking and food myself. My mom actually had an idea. She said, "Why don't you publish these recipes?" And two years ago, I was going to publish only those recipes. And then we were struggling to find a publisher. So our book did not get published in those years. So when we finally found a publisher, they asked, with just smoothies, is it going to really be this meaningful? And why don't you implement why you should have smoothies? And why you did smoothies, not instead of just having smoothies, why not have the story behind it? So that's how I implemented my life story. And also I've been doing research on the gut microbiome and how food impacts the gut bacteria and how it impacts the brain in the process. Because in a Science News magazine that I read, it said that the health of your gut bacteria was linked to your chances of developing Parkinson's disease. So then I decided to test different things that we ingested on the gut bacteria itself and see what stressed out the gut bacteria. So
how were you able to test that? What
I did was I tested different medicines that many millions of people take worldwide. So they were blood pressure medications and diabetes medications, and I tested them on the bacteria itself. So I grew bacteria and I implemented the medicines into their environment. So that's how I tested. So that's how I did the testing. And I found that most of the medicines that I tested actually stressed the bacteria and actually did not let the bacteria grow on the plate. So I thought with that, it was really important to think about what you put in your body. So that's the research aspect. I decided to put that in to persuade readers about why thinking about what you eat is so important. So that's the research aspect.
And About your research on E. coli, I mean, like, was that again part of whatever you were doing, as part of studying your gut microbiome?
Yes, I studied the medicines on the E. coli.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, I that was the main research that I did, and I'm still trying to do more. And I think with that, I think it was a lot to persuade the readers about thinking about their gut, thinking about their microbiome, and just thinking about what they eat and ingest. It's not just food, but medicines, different liquids, things like that, and also what they inhale as well, because that could end in your respiratory tract and impact your body even more. So I think thinking about what you put in your body is very important, and that's again what I wanted to persuade my readers to think about. And then I took my life story to say why I turned to smoothies. And then I took my research to persuade why they should think about this. And then I added information about how to get on the path to a healthy lifestyle by changing your diet. And then to provide recipes, because okay, I know how to change my diet, but what could I do? What could I substitute out? So instead of a burger, what can I have? So smoothie recipes. You could implement smoothies into your diet. So that's why I added the smoothie recipes at the end, and that made a much more meaningful book. So it was not just my own story, but there are also hundreds of other stories like me, even thousands of stories like me, where they struggled with their weight, but they finally conquered it in the end.
Oh, wonderful. And did you feel that, even personally, did you feel the change in your gut microbiome when you incorporated these? And did you see like a remarkable change in how you felt energy wise and so on and so forth?
Yes, I really felt a huge change in my energy, my ability to concentrate as well. And I felt a big change in how I used the bathroom. Yeah, because an unhealthy gut microbiome can result in digestive issues.
Oh, absolutely.
Like constipation, diarrhea, things like that. And also medicines have side effects of digestive issues. So that is kind of how I sparked my research.
And who motivated you to do all this, Diya? I know your personal journey, but was there like a motivating force that kind of helped you and guided you in this path toward your well-being?
Yes, definitely. So without my family and friends to help persuade me to think past just the recipes and to think about the meaning behind it, really taught me to think about the outside forces that helped me get to the stage that I to the state that I am today. Just my family's support, and also my family giving feedback on what I wanted to do, I think really helped me to think about the bigger picture instead of staying in one area, seeing what I could do new, what I could do more to make more of an impact. So I think I really had to give credit to my family and friends.
Oh, sure. You are making a huge impact, I should say. And in your book, I see that you write about carbohydrates, fats, proteins, and all of that. And you cover nuts and superfoods. You even cover daily routines for people to kind of, stay on the path toward, a healthier version of themselves. And also you talk about blender choices and all of that. And you have like 21 smoothie recipes. Is that right?
Yes, 21.
Okay. What is the science behind anything you advocate? Is it just based off of your experience alone, or say even your smoothie combinations and things like that? Have you kind of modeled it after, say, like any particular diet regimen that you kind of came across, or is it like, say, like the Indian science of Ayurveda or anything like that?
I took in the benefits of each fruit and vegetable and superfood, and I tried to kind of arrange a template for each smoothie: fruits and vegetables, a liquid, and maybe some flavoring like vanilla extract or nut butter, and a superfood. So I tried to implement that template into most of my smoothies. Some of my smoothies are fun smoothies where you can indulge in chocolate and coffee flavors while still implementing healthy ingredients into the smoothie. So that it's not only based on my experiences, but a lot of other experiences from many other people. And the way I found those experiences was, watching the videos on YouTube. So I think after watching a number of videos and watching people make things a certain way, looking at the flavor combinations, it kind of clicked in my head what went with what. So, for example, I would generalize bananas with spices and more heavy and filling smoothies. And if you wanted a refreshing smoothie, have light tropical fruits. So if you wanted a filling smoothie, you could have things like banana and mango, which are creamy and heavy. You could even use avocado as well. It's superb for thickness and creaminess.
I totally agree with you on that. We use it all the time in our household.
So taking in those and taking in the flavor profiles, I think after a bit of watching other people do it, taking in knowledge from the web, reading recipes and even experimenting with things yourself, I think after a while you start to find flavor combinations that click together and really create a masterpiece. So I think with experience and research, a good mix of both really does quite a good job. So
okay. Yeah. And what about any fun moments, even as you were kind of experimenting with all of this and kind of came up with everything, or any hiccups that you may have had?
You cannot get to a specific place without hiccups. It's impossible.
So was there like a day when you had probably like a total disaster smoothie also?
Definitely. There's so many times where, okay, it's not just with smoothie recipes, it's with everything else that I like to cook. So desserts and soups. There are so many times where I made soups insanely salty.
Oh.
And yeah, there are also times where I used oil instead of butter in cupcakes. And instead of having a moist cupcake, it would be a brittle biscuit. So I think with those, it was very frustrating. I got very frustrated with myself and I thought I should quit and things like that. But it's the failures that make you learn from your mistakes. It makes you learn. And without failures, you're not going to get to a certain place. You say, okay, I've succeeded. I'll stay here. Failing makes you climb higher.
Sure.
So I think with those, with the failures, I think it really made me learn. And even if it made me frustrated in the moment, I'm grateful for the amount of times I failed.
Oh, I'm sure. And what about your best smoothie and worst smoothie experience, if you were to name it? And then I know you kind of talk about using your brother as, like the person you would test it on, right?
Oh yeah, my family, I make them taste everything. I say, eat this. And so there are definitely times where I have really good smoothies. So there's one time where I made a cherry and strawberry yogurt smoothie. I think it's in my book, and it's my mom's absolute favorite. She loved it so much. My brother loves cherries and milk. It's an interesting combination, but he loves that. And I have a favorite smoothie. It's I took inspiration from a YouTuber who did almost the same combination. It was watermelon and mango, and I've never seen that before. And I tried it, and it had a beautiful orange color, and it was a mixture of tart and sweet, and it was just amazing. I had just a bit of lemon juice, and it was beautiful. So I had to incorporate that. So with that, I think bad smoothies as well. I think it was better getting my brother to taste things because he's incredibly picky. So if I give him a smoothie and he'll say it's bad, I'll ask him what's bad about it. Well, why doesn't he like it? And then I'll have my mom taste it. She has she's much less picky about it. So even if I give her something that my brother hates, she'll probably like it. Yeah.
And what was your experience with blenders? What was it that you liked the most, and what was it that annoyed you the most? What prompted you to even talk about blender choices in your book?
I've used a number of blenders. Whenever I watch the smoothie videos, I would see 2 or 3 blenders that would be really amazing, and everybody would advertise them. One of them was the Vitamix. I don't have a Vitamix. I have something similar called a Harley Pasternak, and the Vitamix, it's incredibly powerful. I've seen people just blend frozen fruits alone in that blender, and my blender can't do that. But I've also seen Jamba Juice branches use blend tech, and I've seen that's an amazing blender because you just hit the smoothie option and it'll calculate how much time it needs to blend. And I think that's an amazing feature. And some things that I was kind of irritated with were the weaker blenders. First of all, they wouldn't clean very nicely, and also they would leave chunks of fruit in my smoothie, and I hate that. I really, I want a smooth smoothie and just no chunks. So,
okay. Yeah, I can imagine what prompted you to, write about it. And what would you say to someone that says, hey, why not eat the fruit as such? Why not eat the fruit, say with the peel, and that way I get the fiber as well. And what do you say to someone that says, when you put several fruits in together and try to blend it, probably, that's not how much sugar intake I want to have, though it's natural sugars, right? So how do you convince someone about this aspect, Diya?
So first of all, implementing more smoothies into your diet allows you to get more fruits and vegetables into your diet. And it's also less work on the teeth as well because it's liquid, and you are still getting the fiber because you're blending up the fruits, but you're not taking any of the fruits out. You're still blending everything. So you'll still be getting all the fiber and nutrients. And instead of having like cooked spinach or like some cooked vegetables, cooking the vegetables can eliminate some of the nutrients. So if you just blend the vegetables in a smoothie, you'll still be able to get full benefits, and you can have it like a drink. It's much faster and more efficient.
And probably on the go, it's easier than, like when you're short of time. Okay.
Back in a moment with our guest on Freshly Forever.
And so what would you say to people as to how they can change their habits and eat healthy? So what would be your biggest messaging on that front?
I think the biggest thing is, holding yourself accountable.
Very well said.
Yes, people start a meal plan maybe, but how do you stick to it? How are you supposed to be like, oh, I wrote a plan, but I don't have any obligation to follow it. So how do you get that obligation into your life? Maybe it's the motivation of not getting a disease. Like if you're predisposed for diabetes, then you have that obligation to stay healthy because you don't want diabetes. But for somebody who wants to stay healthy, maybe they can have a coach or a professor maintain their diet, or maybe they can have a friend who will ask them every day, hey, did you do this? Did you do this? I've seen many tutorials on SMART goals. So they're SMART. Okay, so specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. That's the acronym. So you don't want a generic goal. Like, let's just say, let's start eating healthy. Well, how? Let's say I will start eating healthy by incorporating two fruits and 2 vegetables every single day. That's specific. That is specific. And measurable over how. So how am I going to measure eating healthy? Well, like I said, eating 2 fruits and vegetables every day. That is measurable. And attainable, you can definitely achieve that goal. And realistic, that is very realistic. Something that is not realistic, if you say I'm going to exercise 5 hours a day, that is not realistic. It's measurable, but I'm not sure if it's attainable or realistic. And timely, over how long are you going to measure this goal? Is it going to be for a week? Is it going to be for a month? 6 months? So taking those into consideration is really important as well. And also with the SMART goal, then you hold yourself accountable through a coach or a professor or a friend or family. And I think with those together, you could really start your path onto a healthier lifestyle. And also considering, sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So, and also considering research and the best things that fit your schedule as well. Let's just say you have a very hectic schedule and you have to incorporate 2 fruits and 2 vegetables. What you can do, you can make a smoothie that has 2 fruits and 2 vegetables. Let's just say 1 pear, 1 orange, and some spinach and some carrots maybe in your smoothie. And then you can add milk, protein powder, chia seeds, flax seeds, whatever you want. And that's your 2 fruits and vegetables in 1 drink. And that's what I wanted to point out with the other question. Instead of having the work to eat those 2 vegetables, you could just drink it up on the go and it'll be much more easier and a lot more efficient. So I think taking your time to plan things out in a SMART goal and holding yourself accountable and also researching everything and finding something that fits your schedule is really great for you to start improving your lifestyle.
I am very familiar with the SMART goal usage by a lot of productivity people. But for you so young to have correlated it to diet and lifestyle, that just leaves me, really amazed here. Very well done, Diya. And your Speak server, like we talked about, that being a Discord server for physical, emotional well-being and support. How much has it grown and how far is your reach with that? I know you said you needed to propagate it more so more people can be participative and benefit from it. I know you started with like 2 subscribers and now it's like grown to 30, or is it more than that?
We've had a little bump in the road with people wanting to join, and also me having the motivation to stay in contact because the server wasn't being active and it made me feel a bit discouraged. But a friend, he wanted me to bring the server back and really amp it up so that more people join. And right now we are in the process of adding different bots. So we have a shop system where people can buy fun things, people can play games, and we've also added a special feature that gives where you can put in specific information like your geographical region and your pronouns and for fun zodiac signs. So I think that really makes the server more engaging. Instead of just talking in the server, that way you can engage more. And we are starting to get back into having server parties and events where people can connect and enjoy with games together. And with this new currency and shopping system, there can be actual rewards for winners in those games.
Oh, so nice. So then it becomes like an all-encompassing
Yes.
stage or point where kids can just, or tweens and teens can come, one, exchange their feelings and get, like-minded people to help them out, or, you basically, like give them advice on the benefits of diet, lifestyle, meditation, breathing,
Oh
etc.
yeah.
Is that right?
Yes. And taking the more engaging parts of the server, people can have fun together instead of just chatting. They can they can play games. They can compete with each other and just have that type of that positive energy in there. So taking that, we've recently gotten at least 3 or 4 new members, and we're at almost 40 members. So I think that's really good. So
Nice. And is it strictly meant for tweens and teens, or is it meant for adults too? Do you plan to expand the scope?
I personally make it available to people of all ages, but it's especially encouraged for teens because of all the stress between college and what's going on with the world, social media as well, their school, things like that. I think I would love to encourage teens more to join the server, but all people of all ages are welcome.
Okay.
So,
and you very much, made me segue into this, handling school extracurricular activities and not feel overwhelmed. What is your 2 cents worth on that, Diya? How do people manage it all, you think? How can one do it all?
I've read some things where people just say, I love to stay busy. Well, not everybody does want to stay busy. So I think one way of keeping your head in the game and focused on one task at a time is to really consider what activity in your life is important at that time. So, for example, if you have a worksheet that is due, let's just say we're all in online school, and let's just say you have a worksheet due at midnight, and you have a club meeting the next day. You would want to worry about the worksheet more than the club meeting, and keep the club meeting away from your mind, and that takes away a whole event's worth of stress away from your mind, and you get that thing done, and you're free to think about anything else. So you just want to prioritize what is important to think about now and what can be worried about later.
Okay.
So on a more larger scale, on a more larger time scale, people who are just starting high school worry about SAT and ACT when that could be worried about 2 years later when they're starting 11th grade. You can start thinking about it, but you don't have to cloud your mind over it. You don't have to fall head over heels over those things, because they're not coming to you right now. They're later, so you worry about them later.
So focus on whatever is happening right now and focus on the present. Yes. I guess, is that advice stemming from your being very focused on meditation and breathing and so you probably have realized immensely the benefits of staying in the moment? Is that what it is? And what is the recipe for anyone to stay disciplined and stick to, say, their routine of breathing and meditation?
I think first recognizing the importance of breathing and meditation. So why should they do it in the first place? How will it help them? And has it worked for other people? And it has worked for many people. They can easily research all these different benefits from meditation: a state of calm, less anxiety and stress, which is very important in terms of your performance, your emotional health, and also your physical health. So I think first recognizing the importance is a good place to start, and then finding even if it's for 5 to 10 minutes, it's great to find a slot in your lifestyle, in your schedule every single day to do meditation. Preferably maybe in the morning before you go to work. Just sit on your bed and and listen to a guided meditation video on YouTube. There are numerous short 5-minute videos that guide you through a meditation experience. So just even 5 minutes would really help your energy and your mind. Then finding a schedule, like finding a place in your schedule, is the second step. And then finally sticking to that schedule is very important. So if something comes up, you could push the meditation back to later in the day, or you could do a longer meditation over the weekend. So having doing that is really important as well. So
again, having those measurable goals, like whatever attainable and measurable, that's probably, at least plan on doing it like 4 times a week out of the 7, like maybe plan on longer stints, or like plan on 2 shorter stints for like 5 days out of 7 in the week, like even if something were to, there has to be some give, right? What would be your advice to young innovators like you? You have come up with OxiBlast. What would be your advice for them to be successful, and for those that may not even realize that they have some ideas that they can bring to the forefront, right?
Yes.
Some people may not even realize that they have it in them. They may just be so subdued and skeptical, and they may not have enough guidance or the infrastructure around them, a support system like you and I have had, and like for which we need to be extremely thankful for. What would be your advice to those kind of young innovators for them to be successful?
So first, I think would be really believing in their why. Why are they doing this? Why does this interest them? What is your story behind it? So believing in your cause. What are you looking to change in society with this goal? What are you looking to change about yourself as well? Because you want to learn from your own experiences as well as others. So just considering those questions: why am I doing this? How will it help society? What is my story behind it? Think about those, and nobody will be able to take that away from you. They cannot pick at you and say that didn't happen, because it happened, and that's your goal. Nobody can take your goal away from you. And I think, so if you don't really have a support group, one thing you can probably do is reach out to people who have done similar things like you have, or who have had their own stories of innovation. You can make a search online, you can write to them, you can email them, just reaching out and seeking advice and support, and maybe even like a Zoom meeting or a contact. That would be very beneficial for people who don't have a direct support group. Just reaching out to someone who can support you.
Oh, that's great. You are a violinist, you're a classical vocalist. I just heard you sing, and I was just in awe. And you just have such a talent and gift, and keep doing what you're doing. What is the role of music, you think, in healing anyone? How did it help you? Did you feel like an extra special sense of calm when you did it?
I really found it a place to really have fun, because I would in the field that I trained in, which was Indian classical music, there were times where you could take what you learned and improvise and make your own combinations. So I really had fun with that. It was a way to mess around and have fun, which invokes happiness and relaxation, just joyfulness. So I think that's one way music really helped me. And also listening to music, I realized that you could find the beat in everything, find the rhythm. And it also triggers specific emotions based on the type of music you're listening to. So, for example, if you listen to some calm music, it relaxes your mind. It makes you hone in on the lyrics and really think about it deeply. And if you listen to uplifting music, then you'll probably feel an adrenaline rush, or you'll feel like you're on top of the world. So just listening to those types of music can help you, can invoke certain emotions in your mind. And also, through my experience, I was just in Washington, and so I was with my uncle and aunt. So from the view from their house, it was breathtaking. There were trees and plants, and it was slightly windy outside. And in Phoenix, it's very warm here right now. So I really wanted to take advantage of the weather and the view. So what I did every day at night when it was dark and breezy, I would go outside, put on my earphones, and listen to calming music while walking around in the backyard. So it really calmed me down. It made me feel this type of serenity, and I just kept going for more. And I think that's how my mental health was impacted. It made me more calm, and it made me want to live more in the moment instead
absolutely.
of worrying about the future.
I think very well said. What about your outlook for the future, Diya? What would you like to see accomplished, and would you like to be considered or looked up to as a renowned gastronomist, or what is it that you want to become?
At first, since I love cooking and I love baking and food, I just wanted to become an ordinary cook, just cooking food. But then when my family and friends encouraged me to think about the bigger picture, I started to think about what more I could do with food. And taking my research on the gut microbiome so far, I could test different diets and different foods on different parts of your body, the gut, and how it affects the brain. So with that, I'm not sure if it's been invented already, but I came up with the term culinary neurologist. As a neurologist, I wanted to study the brain along with food that we eat. So the impact of different foods on the brain, what hormones are released, what hormones are repressed, and what are the effects of these hormones on our body. And these foods on the gut microbiome, how does the microbiome affect our brain after eating those foods? So I wanted to look more into that from the neurologist part. And then taking my research, I wanted to take the foods from my research and implement them into a restaurant.
Oh, absolutely. I think I'm going to look for your name to make the headlines on that, and good luck with that. And what about your vision for youth that have ideas? Like we talked about, how one can come out with their ideas, right? They may be skeptical. Yes. They may just not even realize that they can also do something like how you are doing. And actually, that's the intent behind me interviewing people like you, because I just want an inspiration, a motivation for other youngsters like you to be able to succeed. So how can we foster a scenario for youth to bring their best self out? What do you think is the role of adults, society, say peer level, like your age group people? How can we make that happen, Diya?
Teens are often underestimated. Their abilities are underestimated. People think, oh, they're just teens. I've heard this many times. Oh, their hormones are imbalanced. That's why they're feeling this way. But yeah, I've heard that, believe it or not. But I think taking what teens say, they really want to be heard, even though they're having major changes in their lifetime, in their lifestyle. I think teens want to be heard, and I think as a society we can give them that. We can listen to them And I think what parents can do is just give them a bit of independence in what they want to do. If somebody wants to start a company, you can say, okay, you can do this. You can listen to them, ask them what they want to do, why they want to do it, things like that, and help them in the process and support them, and also give them a bit of freedom, because once they run free, I think teens will be able to come up with amazing ideas instead of just keeping it pocketed inside their heart. So I think building a supportive, non-judgmental and open-minded society is really great for teens to get themselves out there in the world.
So great stuff there. Yes. Any other things you would like for listeners to go with as takeaways from this show, and whatever contact info and about your book that you want to share as to where people can look for it and stuff?
Okay, sure. So one thing that I would really love to say is, don't think that I often struggled with this myself, but when somebody does something better than you, or when they do more than what you have done already, don't beat yourself up. Don't think you're below them because you haven't done as much as them. Instead of being jealous and feeling sorry about yourself, you can see how you can grow and how you can learn from them. Instead of making them competition, you can make them your role model and your example, and make it a positive example, not a negative example. And another thing is, like I said earlier, when you want to go forward with an innovation or an idea, you want to believe that your work is honest. You want to believe that what you're doing is actually what you want to do. That what you do, you're very passionate about it. If you're not passionate about it, then why keep doing it? You're not loving it, and you're not going to find enjoyment of it. And if you don't enjoy it, then others won't enjoy you either. So finding your passion, so experimenting things. What do you enjoy? What are you interested in? Finding that passion first, and then believing in your story and yourself and your abilities. That's a really great way to start. And then, so believing your work is honest. You have to believe that what you're doing is impactful. What you're doing is your idea. You're not copying anybody. So that way you can really be proud of your own idea, and you can represent it with pride. So with that, it's really great when you want to start an innovation or idea. So just follow those things, and you'll start getting the right path. There will be some bumps in the road, but you just have to keep picking yourself up, because don't let anything hold you back from your dream. It's cliche.
Oh, great.
But, yeah.
And you are a rising sophomore in high school, correct? In Arizona?
I'm actually a rising junior now. So
junior.
Yeah.
Okay. For a rising junior to offer this much wisdom, I think is phenomenal. And definitely, you can feel very proud about that. And what about healthier habits for a healthier you? Can people find the book on Amazon, or what other sources? And would you like to put out your website or any contact info here for listeners to just check out more of what you do?
Sure. So yes, my book can be found on Amazon, and you can order a hard copy, paperback, and you can also order the Kindle version online. So just you can search my name, Diya, on Amazon, or you can search up the book name and you'll find it. And then as for contact information, I have my website, diyasworld.com.
Had so much fun chatting with you today, Diya, and wish you the very best.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for being on the show. And listeners, as always, please send me your feedback and Follow me on Instagram at YP Kumar for all things digital media and lifestyle. Look forward to connecting with yet another guest on this podcast next week on yet another topic, which is of great interest and benefit to all of us in our daily lifestyle. See you back again next week. Until then, it's Vi saying so long.